Hello and welcome to today's video. My name is Femke from Fame to the Fiction on Instagram and Bookish Buddies over on Twitter. And today I am here with an unhaul. So this is probably the most uncharacteristic video for me ever. I've done a ton of book hauls on this channel, but I've never done an actual unhaul before. I rarely unhaul my books. Yeah, I just tend to collect and just keep the books regardless of whether I like them or not. But I don't know. It just felt like the right time, so that's why we're here. So I have about 100 books here to be unhauled. Without further ado, let's get into the books. Most of these are either duplicates of books, so books I have multiple editions of, which I decided to get rid of some. Books that I read and liked but will probably never read again. Or books that have been on my shelves for such a long time that I probably will never read them because there's always going to be other books that I'll be more interested in. So that's kind of the categories here. In no particular order, there's a giant stack right there, which you can't see. But in no particular order am I going to show you these books. Just basically going to grab one stack and then move on, if that makes sense. So the first books are The Tiger and the Wolf and The Bear and the Serpent by Adrienne Chukowski. Honestly, like I said, these have been on my shelves for such a long time that I just will never read them. I really like the covers of these, but honestly I have no clue what this is about. So time for them to go. Then there's Panic by Lauren Oliver, which again is one of those books that's been on my shelves for a very long time. I've never read it. I probably never will. So then up next we have, please don't fall, the Suki Stackhouse books. Just going to put them down before they fall. Which I read all of them. I hated the ending of the series and I will probably never read these again. I mean, I enjoyed them, but it wasn't a life-changing experience or whatever. Then the next series is The Jewel by Amy Ewing and The White Rose and the Black Key. Again, this is one of those series that I read, I enjoyed, and will never read again. Because I also remember hating this last book. I felt that was the weakest of the bunch. Then there's the Nightshade series, which is Nightshade, Wolfsbane, and Blood Rose. So I read these books in the beginning of this year. I enjoyed the first two and hated the ending of the third. So again, this is kind of a recurring theme. They have to go. Next is the Selection series. I read all of these years ago. I enjoyed them, but again, I will probably never reread them. If I want to, Esmay has them so I can borrow them from her, but I really don't see any added value in keeping these. Then there's also The Siren by Kiera. I haven't read this. I know Esmay did. I know Esmay, I believe she was kind of like meh on it. Yeah, I'm not interested in this at all anymore, so I will probably never read it. So it has to go. Dear Red Queen series. I have a love-hate relationship with these. I liked the first one. I'm one of the few that also really liked the second one. I hated the third one. Felt the novella was pointless, so I never actually got the last book in the series. But I have no interest in finishing this series, to be honest. So then there's, whoops, 1,000 Nights and Kingdom of Sleep by E.K. Johnston. Again, I've had these on my shelves for years. I've never read them, never really had an interest to, apart from when I initially bought them. So that's why we're here. But these are getting a loving new home at Esmay's. Another book that will get a loving new home at Esmay's is From Blood and Ash. I am not unhauling this because I'm not interested in this, but I bought the Fairy Loot Deluxe set, which I will be getting at some point, so I figured I might as well just get rid of this now, since we're going through the trouble anyways. But this one's also going to Esmay. Then another book is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. This is a duplicate copy. I ordered this for the pre-order goodies, but at that point I didn't know that it was going to be in a Fairy Loot box as well, so that's why I have this, and I don't see a point in keeping it might as well get rid of it. Then up next we have Changeling and Order of Darkness by Flipper Gregory. I read the first one. It was super disappointing. This has been on my shelves. These have been on my shelves forever, so I thought might as well, you know, get going. Turns out I hated it, so I'm not even going to bother reading the second one. And then we have Graceling, Fire, and Bitter Blue. So yeah, this is the same situation as from Blood and Ash. I ordered the hardback set from Fairyloot in the new covers. So I don't see a point in keeping these, so I might as well get rid of these. Then we have The Awakening, The Summoning, and The Reckoning by Kelly Armstrong. These are in a category I read them and I liked them, but I'm probably never going to read them again. This was also one of those series that I probably should have read years before. I would have loved it then, but now I just enjoyed it. Which is also a reason why I'm just getting rid of these now and passing them on to someone who might love them. Then up next we have my Dutch version of Vampire Academy. All 6 parts. I read these, I liked them, but I will probably never read them again, hence the reason they're going. So this is a reason I'm a bit more on the fence about, and that is Defy, Ignite, and Endure by Sarah B. Larson. So I am technically still kind of interested in these, but I do think this is one of those series that I'll just never really find the time for, because there's always going to be books that I'm more interested in. So that's why they're on this stack, to be honest. Then there's the 50 Shades of Grey series, which is honestly one of my biggest shames of my bookshelves. I don't really know what to say about these except for kind of like, duh. Then the next series is the Sweet Evil series, which also has Sweet Peril, Sweet Reckoning, and Sweet Temptation. This is one of those series I really liked when I read them, but I just don't see myself reading them ever again, so passing them on. So then we have this Dutch book, which is called Gebroken by Terry. I have no idea what this is about, but I don't really read Dutch books. I got this at an event, so again, passing this on. Then there's this paperback edition of Legendborn, which we got in an Illumicrate box, but at that point I already owned a hardback copy, so that's where this one is going. Then up next we have Gilded Cage, and Tarnished City by Vic James. These are just those kinds of books that have been on my shelves for years, literal years, and I've never read them, and I don't think I ever will. So I figured they should probably go. And yes, I do realize how repetitive this video sounds, but I have too many books on this list to go into a lot of detail, so that's why we're doing it like this. Then up next we have The Short Second Life of Brie Tanner. The rest of the Twilight series is coming, but it's on the bottom of another stack. The only reason I would be keeping Twilight is for nostalgia's sake. But that's not a good enough reason for me, honestly, at this point, with such limited shelf space and so many incoming books. So these have got to go. Then up next is the Cirque du Freak series by Darren Shan, which I have in 4 bind-ups. I have the Vampire Blood, the Vampire Rights, the Vampire War, and the Vampire Destiny trilogy. I read these, I've loved them. I mean, you can probably see that they have pretty broken spines and everything. But now it's just time to pass them on. I will never reread these. So, I don't want them taking up any shelf space anymore. Then up next is my Divergent set. Again, I love the first one, liked the second one, hated the third one, never read the fourth one. Or the fourth one for, like, the companion. Will never reread these, so these have got to go. And up next we have The Eye of the World, The Great Hunt, and The Dragon Reborn by Robert Jordan, which are the first 3 books in the Wheel of Time series. I read the first one, DNF'd it. I don't DNF books very easily. So these have got to go. They're just not for me. They're much too slow. Don't know what else to say. Then there's That Inevitable Victorian Thing by E.K. Johnston. Again, been on my shelves for years. Never read them. Probably never will. Next is the Unbecoming of Mara Dyer, the Retribution of Mara Dyer, and the Evolution of Mara Dyer. This is another of those series. I was interested in these, but I just lost interest, so I'm passing them on to someone who will like them, or at least read them. Next we have Shadow Bright and Burning and A Poison, Dark and Drowning by Jessica Clues. So I read the third one a little while ago and I hated it, but the author has also done said some really problematic things over on Twitter, which is honestly the biggest reason for me to move these books on. I just don't want to have these books on my shelves anymore. Up next we have the original US hardbacks of An Ember in the Ashes, A Torch Against the Night, and the new UK hardback of A Reaper at the Gates. I'm unhauling these because I got the Fairy Loot set, so now I have a complete matching set, so there's no reason for me to keep these anymore. Then the next book is Warcross by Mary Lou. Again, I've had this on my shelves for years and I'm just not interested in it anymore. That's all I can say about this. And then we have Aurora Rising by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. Again, I got another copy. I got the Illumicrate copy thanks to Sadie from Wow I Read. So there's no reason for me to keep this anymore. Then we have another copy of A Torch Against the Night. This is the out-of-print UK hardback, which again is a duplicate copy and I don't need to keep it. Then there's this copy of The Lives of Saints. I ordered the signed Waterstones edition and the exclusive Illumicrate edition. And I put the Illumicrate dust jacket around the signed Waterstones edition, which left me with this, which is just a regular copy because it's the Illumicrate book which wasn't signed. And the Waterstones dust jacket, which is, you know, just normal. So, I'm getting rid of it. Then there's this collector's edition of Six of Crows. Again, this was a duplicate copy, and I don't need multiple of these. So just a quick note, the only books or series I will have or keep duplicates of are my top favorites, or just books that I really like the editions of. For example, Addie LaRue, I didn't love it, but I still love all the different editions that I have. And some of my favorites include Strangely Dreamer, that's the Day for Bad trilogy, those books. Then there's this Dutch book, which don't let the cover fool you. It's called Birthday by Meredith Russo, but this is a Dutch translation. Again, I don't really read Dutch books. This was another gift at an event. And I figured someone else will probably like this more than I will. Then we have Carve the Mark and The Fates Divide. Again, these are just the type of books that I will buy and then lose interest in. So that's where these are going. I think someone else will love them more than I will. Then there's this series, which is Dreaming Anastasia, Haunted, and Anastasia Forever. I'm not really sure what these are about. I got these years and years ago. And I just don't think I will ever read these. Because there's always going to be other books that I'm going to be more interested in. Then there's the Delirium series, which is Delirium, Pandemonium, and Requiem. I read and really liked the first two. I never read the third one, and I really have no interest in doing so. And these have been on my shelves forever as well, so that's why these are going. And then I have my Twilight Set. These are very well loved, at least the books. These are the Dutch editions. I'm putting them down because these are super heavy. So again, the only reason I would be keeping these would be for nostalgia's sake. Yeah, I don't see myself ever reading them again, which is honestly the biggest reason I'm getting rid of them. Also, yes, I just took them all off from my shelves and I haven't had time to rearrange those, so that's why they're looking awful, but I'm getting to that. The final few books are coming, first of which is the signed copy of King of Scars. I have the Illumicrate copy, which I like more than this one, so I will be getting rid of this one. Then there's this Fairy Loot edition of Finale by Stephanie Garber. This is again a duplicate copy, and I like my original one more, which is the reason I'm getting rid of this. And then the final two books on this list are the first edition, first printing of The Poppy War UK hardback, and this Illumicrate signed edition with blue sprayed edges of the Dragon Republic. I have the Illumicrate archive set, so there's no reason for me to be keeping these any longer. So, those were all of the books I'm getting rid of, I think. Yeah, I don't think there's any more I will be getting rid of just yet. So quite a few books. I haven't counted them. Yesterday evening it was 83. But I picked out more, so I think it's around 100 now. Yeah, let me know down below if there's any books that you really think I should be keeping. Maybe I will in that case. So yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!